72%. Seriously, just think about that number for a second. You roll a regular six-sided die, and your odds of hitting a 6 are slightly worse. Now imagine NASA, yes, that NASA, telling you that's the probability a rock the size of Manhattan is going to wipe out civilization on July 12th, 2038. Your brain probably just did a little backflip, right? Because when that headline dropped, the internet absolutely lost its collective mind. X went bonkers, TikTok's doom scroll lit up faster than a Christmas tree in Times Square, and your group chat? Forget about it. It probably blew up with enough "we're toast" memes to fill a digital archive. Of course, the cooler heads, the folks who actually read beyond the headline, kept trying to say, "Hey, hold on, it's just a drill." But that terrifying headline, that 72% figure, just kept pinging back like some kind of cosmic push notification nightmare. So what's actually real here? Was it just Hollywood-level drama? And why does every news feed these days feel like we're watching the final scene of Don't Look Up unfold in real time? Stick around, because today we're cracking open this whole Asteroid 2038 panic. We're going to separate the simulation from the actual space rock and figure out whether we should keep paying rent on our apartments or just blow all our savings on some hypothetical moon-based condo. This is going to be wild. Alright, so how did this whole mess even start? It wasn't some rogue astronomer screaming into the night sky. Nope. The entire panic button got pushed because of a single, seemingly innocuous slide at a closed-door NASA tabletop exercise last March. Picture this, a room full of scientists, emergency responders, and government officials. They weren't there to predict the future. They were there to practice for it. They were handed a fake rock, let's call it Asteroid 2023 foe, because it literally didn't exist, and told it had a 72% probability of impact on July 12, 2038. The whole point? To see how fast various agencies could coordinate, how they'd respond, and where the bottlenecks were. It was a high-stakes game of what if, but then someone somewhere leaked that juicy 72% probability. And you know how the internet works, right? Headline writers, always eager for a juicy click, conveniently forgot to include the word hypothetical or simulation. By sunrise, that innocent drill scenario had mutated into Killer Asteroid 2038 has 72% chance of extinction. Algorithms, those hungry beasts, absolutely loved it. Rationality? Not so much. Within hours, #Asteroid 2038 outtrended the latest royal drama, proving once again that fear and sensationalism travel at fiber optic speed, while context and nuance are still stuck riding a horse and buggy. It's almost like the internet was designed to make us panic. Let's zoom out from the internet echo chamber for a second and look at the actual cosmos. Our good old Earth is constantly being buzzed by what scientists call near-Earth objects, or NEOs. Think of them as cosmic debris. Most of them are just tiny pebbles, literally harmless. But yeah, some are definitely mountain-sized troublemakers. Fortunately, NASA's Center for NEO Studies, CNEOS, keeps a running, incredibly detailed tally of every known space rock that could potentially get too close for comfort. And guess what? As of this very week, 0 objects on their official risk list pose a major threat in the next century. Zip. Nada. Nothing to see here, folks. Now the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs? That monster was roughly 9 miles across. You don't just miss something that big. Anything even remotely close to that size gets spotted decades out, thanks to our increasingly powerful wide-field telescopes. We'd see it coming, trust me. Remember Apophis? That was the asteroid that had everyone a little nervous pre-2020. It's only about 0.211 miles wide, big enough to ruin your regional commute, maybe take out a small country, but certainly not wipe mammals off the map entirely. The good news? New, incredibly precise radar work has completely scratched Apophis off the worry list through at least 2100. It's literally not a threat for the next 100 years. So where does this asteroid 2038 fit into all of this? It doesn't. There is no actual cataloged object named 2038. There's no infrared blip, no Goldstone radar echo, and no little dot on a screen that corresponds to this supposed doomsday rock. The asteroid in that exercise never got a provisional designation because, well, it never existed outside of a PowerPoint slide. It was a ghost in the machine, a digital phantom designed to test our limits, not our fate. So what exactly happens in one of these tabletop drills? Think of it like a giant, incredibly serious game of space chess, but with real-world implications. The participants are a who's who of global heavy hitters: FEMA, the European Space Agency, even the State Department, and countless other agencies you've probably never heard of. Their mission isn't to play asteroids, it's to rehearse real-world decisions if a truly scary rock pops up with relatively short warning. The scenario they used for the 2023 exercise was deliberately intense. It compressed the discovery to impact timeline into a frantic 5 years. That's a blink of an eye in cosmic terms. This forces teams to practice everything from identifying potential launch windows for deflection missions to navigating the incredibly messy politics of evacuating cities and even figuring out how to hold press conferences that don't immediately spark global looting and chaos. The 72% figure, that number that caused so much panic, was chosen precisely because it's uncomfortably high. It's that sweet spot that triggers emergency protocols and gets everyone's attention, but stops just short of being a certainty. It makes you sweat, makes you think, and makes you act. And the outcomes? They were incredibly telling. Decision trees got tangled, funding gaps yawned wide open, and no one could quite agree on who had the ultimate authority to press the big red button on a deflection mission. These were invaluable lessons learned, all without a single actual space rock threatening us. It was preparedness in its purest, most stressful form. Humans, bless our hearts, are just terrible at interpreting probability. Seriously, we stink at it. Tell someone a commercial airline has a 99.999% safety record, and they'll board without blinking an eye. But tell them a rock has a 28% chance of missing Earth, which means a 72% chance of hitting, and suddenly every backyard astronomer becomes a prophet of doom. It's a weird cognitive glitch we all share. And guess what? Media outlets, especially the ones driven by clicks and eyeballs, know this glitch inside and out. They weaponize it. You combine that inherent human weakness with Hollywood images, tidal waves rolling over the Statue of Liberty, cities reduced to rubble, massive craters smoking on the horizon, and you've got yourself a perfect viral storm. Never mind that the very same press release, the one they barely glanced at, spelled out in clear language, "This is only a simulation, folks!" By then, the share button horse has already bolted from the barn, galloping across the internet at full speed, leaving context and accuracy far behind. The message gets distorted, amplified, and then believed, all because of a number taken out of context and our own innate biases. It's a powerful lesson in how quickly panic can spread when facts get sidelined. So, if a real threat emerged, could we actually handle it? Short answer, way better than ever before, but let's be real, we're not quite Starfleet yet. This isn't some science fiction movie where Captain Kirk just punches in coordinates. But we're making incredible progress. Take NASA's DART spacecraft, for instance. In 2022, this plucky little probe successfully smacked into a tiny asteroid moonlet named Dimorphos. And what happened? It shortened Dimorphos's orbit by a whopping 32 minutes. That might not sound like much, but it was absolute proof that kinetic impactors, basically hitting a rock with another rock, but really fast, actually work. Think of it like cosmic billiards with a spacecraft as your cue stick. It was a monumental success for planetary defense. And we're not stopping there. Up next is NEO Surveyor, an infrared space telescope slated for launch in 2028. This incredible piece of tech won't just orbit Earth. It's going to park itself at the L1 Lagrange point, a gravitationally stable spot between the Earth and the Sun. From there, it'll hunt for the heat signatures of sneaky, dark asteroids years, even decades, before they ever get close enough to be a problem. It's like giving us cosmic night vision goggles. Combine that with the European Space Agency's Hera mission, which will arrive at Dimorphos to inspect DART's handiwork up close, and you've got the first truly integrated detect, deflect, assess pipeline in human history. It's a global effort to protect our home. Still, we've got challenges. Launch windows are narrow, international politics can get messy, and you can't exactly bolt a thruster onto a rogue chunk of space iron with 2 weeks' notice. Our preparedness is climbing, but it's not Everest yet. We're on the right track, but there's still work to do. All right, let's get to the big one. Could an asteroid really bring human extinction? To truly erase humanity, to plunge us into a global winter, you'd need a rock about 10 to 15 kilometers wide. We're talking about something that causes global firestorms, creates a sunlight-blocking dust shroud that lasts for years and completely reshapes the planet. The good news? Nothing of that size is lurking undiscovered in our cosmic neighborhood. We'd know about it. Now, for regional devastation, think a really, really bad day for a continent. Something 140 meters or bigger could certainly do the trick. Congress actually asked NASA to find 90% of those by 2020. We're currently at roughly 40%. That gap might sound scary, but here's the crucial part. Even for those unfound objects, the chance of any single one impacting Earth is incredibly, astronomically low, far below your odds of, say, getting eaten by a vending machine. Statistically speaking, you are vastly, unbelievably more likely to win the lottery, get struck by lightning, and then discover your neighbor is an alien, all in the same afternoon, than you are to die from an asteroid impact in 2038. So, you can probably stop building that backyard bunker. The odds are just not in the asteroid's favor. So, how do you stay informed without falling for every doomsday headline? How do you become truly doom-proof without needing a literal bunker full of canned beans? It's actually pretty simple. Step 1. Bookmark NASA's Neo Sentry page. This isn't some conspiracy theory blog, it's the live scoreboard for civilization. It lists every known near-Earth object, its trajectory, and its risk assessment. It's real data, updated constantly. Step 2. Follow at Asteroid Watch on Twitter. Actual scientists, zero conspiracy theories, just pure, unadulterated space facts. Step 3. Learn the lingo. Seriously, it helps. Understand the Torino scale. A Torino scale 0 means chill out, there's no threat. And 810 means phone Bruce Willis, we have a problem. Anything in between is mostly just fascinating physics and high-level math. Finally, and this is a big one, support funding for space science. Write to your representatives once a year. Tell them you care about planetary defense. Civic pressure keeps those telescopes pointed outward, scanning the heavens, and not just inward at Earth-observing weather satellites. That's it. No canned beans, no tinfoil hats required. Just a little common sense, a dash of scientific literacy, and a commitment to supporting the people who keep us safe. This might sound a bit dramatic, but every single clickbait story, every sensationalized headline about a fake asteroid threat chips away at public trust. It's like the boy who cried wolf scenario, but on a global scale. When the next actual close call pops up, and eventually one will because space is big and full of rocks, people might just shrug at the warnings, assuming it's another boy who cried asteroid moment. Crying wolf trains audiences to ignore the shepherd, and that's a dangerous game to play with planetary defense. Even worse, this kind of manufactured panic diverts attention and resources from slower, but far deadlier, threats like climate change. Think about it. Climate change operates on the same multi-decade timescale that planetary defense needs to operate on. We need sustained attention, long-term planning, and public buy-in for both. When people are constantly distracted by fictional asteroid threats, It makes it harder to focus on the very real, very present dangers that require our immediate and collective action. Fighting hype isn't just some academic exercise, it's a public safety imperative. It's about ensuring we can respond effectively to any threat, whether it's from space or right here on Earth. Okay, so we've talked about the panic, the science, and the misinformation. But here's the upside. The unexpected silver lining in this whole Asteroid 2038 saga. The panic actually got millions of people talking about space for the first time in ages. Google searches for planetary defense spiked by a staggering 1,800%. Telescope sales jumped. Classrooms across the globe debated kinetic impactors over cafeteria pizza. Think about that. Fear, when it's channeled correctly, can become curiosity. And curiosity? That's what funds missions, that's what inspires the next generation of scientists, and that's what pushes the boundaries of human knowledge. So maybe, just maybe, this simulation did its job after all. Just not in the way NASA originally expected. It accidentally became a global public awareness campaign, reminding us that there are brilliant minds out there, actively working to keep our planet safe. So, will Asteroid 2038 bring human extinction? No, 1,000 times no. Because, to put it simply, Asteroid 2038 doesn't actually exist. What does exist is a robust, constantly improving early warning system. What does exist is successful deflection technology, proven by missions like DART. And what does exist is a global community of brilliant scientists, engineers, and policymakers who spend their days making sure we never, ever join the dinosaurs. That 72% figure? It was a fire drill, not a forecast. Treat it exactly like one of those scary tornado sirens that blare every first Tuesday of the month. Loud, attention-grabbing, a little unsettling, but ultimately just practice. Keep your curiosity stoked, keep your facts straight, and keep your thumb far, far away from the panic button. Because the sky isn't falling today, and thanks to good science and incredible human ingenuity, it probably won't tomorrow either. All right, now it's your turn. Drop your biggest remaining question in the comments below. Will we spot the next dinosaur killer in time? Should we invest in nukes or nets for deflection? You name it. I'll tackle the best ones in a follow-up video. And please do me a favor and share this with that friend who keeps forwarding those doomsday links. Save their sanity, and honestly, save mine too.